Isabel and Musa are looking through their old photo albums.
It was moving. It's used to warm up the baby.
They struggled to conceive, and it took over a decade for Isabel to get pregnant. The WHO estimates that 13% of Africans could be infertile, but research on the topic is limited.
Vraiment, ça m'a beaucoup peiné parce que mon mari et moi on s'aimait.
It hurt me a lot, because my husband and I love each other. But in Africa, a child is a home. Without that, your home is not a home. I suffered a lot, and so did he. We lived with his family in a neighborhood where the young people already had children. But the two of us, we had no children. And we were always being criticized.
Both of their sons are the result of in vitro fertilization. The couple spent most of their life savings on the procedures.
My children are priceless. I spent millions of francs, but that's all behind me now. I can't even remember how much. I have my babies, and they call me Mum. They come back home from school and call Mum, Dad.
They turn to the only clinic in Ivory Coast that practices IVF. Twice a week in this lab, surgeons retrieve eggs from the woman's uterus and match it with healthy sperm.
We're going to retrieve the eggs and fertilize them with the partner's sperm.
Couples travel to this clinic from all over Africa.
At first, we treated 39 couples. Today, we have 500. The goal this year is to take on even more. We have to understand that infertility is still a public health problem. Before, we had more female patients with issues with their ovaries or abnormalities in their fallopian tubes. But we're now noticing more and more men visiting us with abnormalities in their sperm.
Each round of IVF costs between 1,500 and 5,000 euros. That's a huge sum in a country where the average income is around 115 euros per month. A lot of women, like Lucy, resort to more traditional methods to solve infertility. Her daughter was having trouble getting pregnant. She turned to Micheline, also known as Mama Testimony, in a bid to heal her daughter's fibrosis.
We went to the hospital. It didn't change anything. It's expensive there. With all the bills I have to pay, I can't afford to pay for big medical expenses. With a traditional doctor, I only pay the equivalent of around 10 euros to help my daughter get pregnant.
In business since 2005, Mama Testimony markets herself as a fertility healer for both men and women. She uses natural remedies such as bark, plants and leaves foraged from her village.
This is what treats fibroids, cysts and myomas. This is for women who struggle to conceive.
She claims her products can boost fertility after only a month.
If you have fertility issues, you take a drink to wash your insides out with it. If it's an illness, the illness then leaves your body. If you want to get pregnant, then you'll be able to. You'll be liberated. Men might have problems with impotence, premature ejaculation and prostate issues. I heal all sorts of illnesses.
But the sociologist says they're commonly used with potentially dire consequences.
Young people have a high prevalence of sexually transmitted infections, but they aren't getting appropriate medical treatment. The result, in the long run, can be infertility and can explain why some couples struggle to conceive long term.
Infertility can also have a severe emotional impact on the affected couple.
There's a psychological pressure on women because they feel that they're to blame. Very often, men in Africa don't realize that they can be the problem. Women turn to extramarital affairs to get pregnant and so bear the weight of this guilt because they want to protect their family's honor.
While women continue to bear the social consequences of infertility in Ivory Coast, experts argue raising awareness, lowering the cost of IVF, and easing adoption protocols could help reduce the stigma they face.